Teegans Table Talk here, guys. Today we're doing a sports talk for the Brushy Creek Bearcats, 6'7s, and the Memphis. Can't say that last name. I'm not gonna say it. You might be able to say it because you're a little different. This guy is a little different out in public.
We'll just go with Memphis for right now.
Memphis, all right. And today we're gonna be talking about the MVP race. Who do you think should win in the MVP race? Who's winning currently?
Currently we haven't seen too many games, but I'm liking Lucky.
Really, I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him, really. Is he under the radar a little?
Freshman this year.
Freshman this year. Wow. How old is he?
We're looking at 19.
19. Might be off a year, but that's fine. Honestly, what I'm thinking is I believe in defense and over everything. Defense over everything. So I really like there's a really good competitor of Brandon Newman. He's 6'8", 220.
Defending champ.
Yeah, he did win last year, but that was for defense player, not MVP. Yep. And then we got Vince neither do call him Zach Edith. That's his nickname, actually.
They call him Vince at home.
Vince at home, yeah. I'm kind of related to him, so that's why I call him Vince. So there's that. And he is 6'10 with a 7'6 wingspan. How many players do you know have a 7'6 wingspan at 6'10?
I think Zach Edith's the only one.
Zach Edith's the only one. That's why I think he's in the race for, defensive MVP and MVP.
Because we recently had a transfer, so.
What is the transfer? Come on, man. You gotta give me better details than that.
Sorry, I'm old, man.
Actually, I'll search it up right now.
On X.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So we got Zach Edith going to the 6'7s. Wow, that is. Wait, so we got two defensive players on the same team?
That's going to be a defense team.
How are they going to score?
Championships.
How are they going to score? And then we got a couple fans back, but we got what's it? Super Saiyan and who else?
The
Squirtle.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan and Squirtle on the same team. They got a short guy.
That man can shoot threes.
He can shoot threes, but when they went up against Brushy Creek, he wasn't really shooting.
And Brushy Creek does that to you. They got the defense.
They got the chemistry too. That's really unstoppable. And we actually brought in a special guest today. We actually brought in Super Saiyan from the 6'7s.
We'll let him take over.
We're gonna ask him questions, and then he's gonna answer. And then we'll bring in our second guest. We actually brought our second guest, but we're not gonna bring him in right now. All right. So, Mr. Super Saiyan, how do you feel about your upcoming game against possibly the number one ranked defensive team in the league?
It's been a rough one to plan for. After the transfer, it was definitely gain some things, lose some things.
Yeah, because you're just teammates with this dude too. That's kind of crazy.
Yep. So it's gonna be a bit different going up against him in this next game, but I think the chemistry trade going on to the Memphis. The teammate there, I feel like a little bit of more chemistry going there, a little bit of offensive power. I think I can hold my end up on the defensive end. I think our focus is going into this game is to pick it apart. It's a defensive team, but
just like that, Colin, right? Oh, okay, I'm gonna stop there. But
defensive team, we're not super worried about the offense there as long as we keep the paint locked down. We're not expecting to see a lot of threes from these guys. So as soon as we can figure out their strategy, I feel like it's gonna be kind of pick and run. Same deal. Just run it over every time we get the ball.
Watch out for that Zach Edith down low.
Yeah, is that? You said you're going to try holding up your defenses as best as you can, but you got to remember you're going against two paint beasts. You got a guy with width and you got a guy with length. All right, and that's gonna be really tough when you got one short guy on your team. That can only shoot threes. Staying outside probably not going to help much in the paint. And
that's actually one thing that we've been working on is having a point like that, such a short height. He's one thing he does have is mobility outside of his shooting. So we've been working with him a little bit to try and take a little more advantage of that. Defensive player of the year on the other team. We also have Zach Edith out there. Definitely tough competition, but having somebody like him on the team like this with that mobility, if we work around him as soon as we can wear him out. Really, that's our goal here. He's definitely had an improved layup package. So utilize that mobility a little more. We can get him inside the paint too. Maybe something a little less that they're expecting. Capitalize on it.
Yeah, I think I might go with Super Saiyan here, and I believe that they could possibly beat them because I'm really kind of worried about their offensive scheme. They're more of a defensive team. You know, they only got defense. They got, you know, width, height, but, you know, the only guy that I really seen score on that team was kind of the reigning defensive player of the year last year. And, you know, just one guy against two really good players. I don't think that's enough to win.
You know, I've seen on the court their speed slow. Their court speed, they can't keep up with Super Saiyan and the Squirtle.
Yeah, if you're 6'10" with a 7'6" wingspan, you know, it's gonna be really hard to handle the ball. So he can't really dribble. That's kind of why he's in the paint. You know, so they're gonna probably have to rely on the reigning MVP of defense last year, Brandon Newman.
You know, I think our team definitely, after the last couple games we had, we realized something. And looking at the two players, especially now being on the same team, we've realized that while being a defensive team of the year, you know, especially having Zach Edith and Brady on the same team all at once, you know, it's threatening. But once we realized in that last game, especially myself, once I get into the paint, finishing wasn't really an issue. As long as I go in there headstrong, like, I don't know if you guys remember the last game. We had quite a few throwdowns on our team.
Yeah, I do remember that. You know, me and Jim did go crazy on that.
Yep.
Me and Jim were commentating that game. You know, we were there for the 50-cent hot dogs. We were also there for the slam dunks. We were there for all the threes Squirtle was making. But at the same time, those Squirtle was on the other team.
And I'm gonna stop you right there. 50-cent hot dogs. Get them on sale.
All right. Yep.
I just those hot dogs are really good. But my main thing is like trying to confuse the other team. You know, because like, being at a center position, you know, having my teammate here being at a point guard, lower stance, you know how it works. They're expecting us to stick to a role, you know. And on the last game, I mean, it definitely depends where I'm at, but I can myself hit a few threes here and there, and he definitely has the layup package to get inside. So as long as we can get them off their feet, they can't expect one thing from one of us. I mean, if we mix it up a bunch, I feel like we're all right.
Yeah, honestly, I think your guys' team there is kind of built like Brushy Creek Bearcats. You know, they got a short point guard. You know, who's really nimble. He can shoot the three. He can drive in just like how Squirtle can. And then they also got they got a little bit more height at the center position.
Yep.
I think by like an inch or two. But
7-foot guy down there in Brushy.
They got a 7-foot guy down there in Brushy Creek, and but at the same time though, they do got a little bit more height in the point guard by only an inch.
True.
Only an inch.
I think when it comes to the Bearcats, our main focus is again mentality. That is a big thing of the game. As long as we can catch them on a day where threes maybe not be their specialty, and I'm going to look up for it to force them down to the paint. Big thing for us is we got to get that center on the right side of the hoop. As soon as we get that center on the right side of the hoop, even if we get scored on, that's okay, because if we get him on the right side of the hoop, that's what we're looking for. Less of a chance to get scored on. Better defensive outcome. Honestly, I don't know that we're looking specifically for a win against the Bearcats. We're just looking up to put up some solid numbers. So
I'm sorry. The reason why I giggled there, because I thought you said squirt over score, so that's why I kind of giggled there. But sorry, that's just my 39. I'm 47 years old. You know, I watch porn. But here,
there you go, Todd.
Yeah, I'm actually getting a call here, so I appreciate you guys interviewing me. But I've got to make my way. I'll let you guys continue the show. Well, appreciate the interview.
Yep, nice to meet you, Super Saiyan.
Yep.
Hopefully, see you get that dub against
we'll
Memphis. You know.
Yep.
You can't say that last name.
See us out
Got
on the court.
Memphis 31-21.
Oh, there you go. We got a score prediction from Jim here.
And with that, we're going to bring a guy in from 6'7", Brandon Newman, defending champ.
Defending champ. MVP.
It's nice to meet you guys first off.
Nice to meet you.
Big fan here. Last year I watched it.
Quick question. Do you go by any other nickname besides just MVP or reigning defensive player of the year?
You can call me Brady. You can call me
Brady.
You know,
see, that's
Big Red.
Big Red. You know, the studio is getting late. You know, the studio's gonna have to close soon. But here we're gonna ask some questions for Big Red here, reigning defensive player of last year. And so, Big Red, how do you feel about going against your guys' next matchup? He was, you know, obviously you had some chemistry with him. You guys played a game or two.
Yep.
And then how do you feel about him transferring? And then how do you think you're gonna answer back?
Well, you know, last game Squirtle wasn't really shooting well. You know, we can force them to shoot because you know, 3 points aren't always going to be 100%. You know.
But you guys did win that game though.
Yeah. You know.
But losing him and replacing him with another big.
Well, they thought we didn't have any chemistry, but you know, I would say otherwise. You know.
Can we get your thoughts on Zach Edith?
Zach Edith, great defense player. You know.
Great defense player.
You know, in my opinion,
We're already bonding with him. I like that.
He might have been robbed last year of defense player of the year. You know.
See, I don't know though.
We both had great
last
seasons.
year. Last year he was injured. Remember, he got hit in the air somehow. I don't know how that happened.
That was just tragic story.
Tragic story.
You know, but
The pole got him at the end.
Almost lost a couple teeth there. All right, continue, Big Red.
all right, like you know, that was towards the end of the season. He had a great season, you know, and I played a couple extra games that he wasn't able to play in, so
That is true.
and that could have gave me a little bit more of an edge on him.
And let's go to the arguably #1 team in the league, Brushy Bearcats. 2-0. What's your plan against them?
Well, we can probably match up size, you know,
Size, okay.
because I can have Zach Edith in the paint, or he can also guard up. He's a really good defender. You know, he loves poking that ball out. You know, no matter who it is.
Poking them legs out too. No, it's alright. Oh, sorry. I just had to bring that out.
He can also make some difficult shots, you know, over people.
He could.
You know, because, you know, 7'6" wingspan, you know.
He's pretty lengthy up there with arms.
But even though he has all that length and everything, it does kind of make it hard sometimes for him.
Yep, that's gonna be pretty hard with all that length. Jim, what do you think the score prediction would be realistically with the 6-7s and Memphis Niggles? Oh, my bad, guys. Sorry, but like that's their team name. Don't
Todd, that's not like you.
dude. All right. I'm sorry, but that's what their athletic director named their school. You know, can't really do nothing.
You know what? After watching the tape, going through it, all my cards, all my players, talk to them, I'm going to go with an upset here.
Upset.
The 6-7s get it done, 31-29.
31-20. Oh, that's a close game.
In a revenge story game.
Okay, so you think Edith's team's gonna win?
Edith's down low.
Team's gonna win down low. All right. What kind of like move? Who's scoring the bucket? Who's winning the buzzer beater?
You know what? I don't think buzzer beater.
Oh.
I think they go on a run. They're down. I think they go on a run. And last shot, Zach Edith.
Zach Edith. All right. I like that.
And Brady here.
What kind of shot
Big Red.
What kind of shot is he gonna put up?
A right-handed layup in front of the basket.
Yep. I do see him do that a lot. You know, that is really accurate. This guy is really realistic.
And Big Red's going to come out of the game with 7 assists.
Big Red's coming out with
4 rebounds, 12 points.
12 points. I like that. All right. Big Red, how do you like his mindset with your guys' team? Do you think that's accurate? Do you think the score's going to be even a bigger margin? Or do you think the game's really going to be that close?
Basketball's unpredictable. You know, upsets happen all the time. Just like at March Madness.
March Madness. You know. It is still March.
Yeah.
And it's gonna bring the madness. It's because there's 50-cent hot dogs.
50-cent hot dogs. You know, the madness of that taste buds. You know.
And we're also sponsored by Scooters. You can get $5 off, $2 drink.
Yep. $2 drink. You know.
I actually haven't had it either, so.
Maybe you should try some. Oh, but you have the game. Don't worry, I'll bring you a hot dog after the game. You know, get your refuel. You know.
Add 20 cents and you get chili to it.
Yep. Get chili and cheese cheese with a bag of Doritos.
Cheddar cheese.
Cheddar cheese. They do a really good job providing food at Teegans Arena. That's where all the games are played, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Like I said, this is Teegans Table Talk. And next game should be 6-7s versus Memphis. You know what?
I heard it's gonna be televised on ABC.
It is gonna be televised.
And Fox Sports.
Fox Sports. It's gonna be televised. And it's gonna be a $5 payment, you know, really cheap. Well, you gotta remember though, we're giving you a discount on food.
Hot dogs, 50 cents
that's what I'm saying. And
at
scooters.
20 cents, chili.
And we're gonna say goodbye to the show right now. You know, the studio is closing. Sorry we did a late show today. You know,
See you, Big Red.
See you guys.
See you, Big Red. The boys had fun at Texas Roadhouse.
And let's have a good game, sir.
He left.